Hello everybody, how are you? I'm Fotini. I'm talking to you from Athens, Greece. I am a self-knowledge consultant, esoteric astrologer, a writer, an activator of higher consciousness, and I'm carrying the energies of the High Priestess. This video today is about the movement of the planet Uranus out of Taurus next month. And why is this very, very important to know? And from the perspective of esoteric astrology, but also how this will affect the global energies. And I will also add some very important information from the perspective of esoteric astrology, which is now in the forefront as the astrology from beyond 2025. For those of you who might don't know how this works. So let's begin with planet Uranus. Whenever a planet is the planet of the era that we are in, the movement of this planet, changing signs, is very, very important, because the movement of this planet, in this case Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, we are in the Aquarian age, cultivates each space that inhabits within the global chart. And I will give you an example. In 2011, Uranus entered Aries, the head. Exactly that day, we had the explosion in the Japanese nuclear industry in Fukushima, and Uranus has to do with radiation and the pollution of the Pacific Ocean, but also the dangers that the misuse of any power, which is ruled by Aries, Mars, can affect the global status quo. Then in 2018, Uranus entered Taurus, the second house, and it's about love, it's about values, and we experience after that the pandemic, how all the global affairs were influenced by fear versus love versus community versus the profits that the pharmaceutical industries gain out of this fear, so that we can come to the conclusion, because now this cycle is closing. Next month Uranus will move into Gemini. Now this cycle is closing, having set the stage of what is important, what is your values, and upon this wisdom, let's say, upon these values, you and everyone upon earth has to build the forward movement. Of course, not anybody gets the lesson, and that's the beauty of this planet, and that's the beauty that everything is happening within cycles. This is astrology, of course, and this is why we have a pyramid that everybody is in a different state of evolution. Not all of us are in the same stage of evolution. Now, From the perspective of esoteric astrology, because esoteric astrology has nothing to do with the precision of the equinoxes and the great illusion that the signs are the same as the exact cycles, okay? The esoteric astrology was given by the three ascended masters, Lord Kuthumi, El Moria, and Saint Germain, through Alice Bailey, and it was about this time of evolution in humanity after 2025, and it has to do with the externalization of the Christ consciousness within, which is the ray of our soul, and has to do with whether each individual, the human avatar, has embodied the soul aspect, which is the Christ consciousness, or the inner child within, however you want to call it. And in that, through this perspective, esoteric astrology has three main principles. One, you came into this incarnation in the same sign that you left your previous incarnation. For example, I am an Aquarius, and so in my last incarnation, I was Aquarius too. Our sun sign is the place of least resistance. What does it mean? It means that unless you embody fully the full spectrum of your sign, you are not embodying your personality. And if you are not embodying your personality, and personality is both duality, dark and light. For example, I will speak for me. Oh, it's getting hot. I am a hyper independent. That's an attribute of Aquarius, but it's not always good for me. It's part of a shadow aspect of Aquarius. I just gave you an example. But unless you embody fully your sun sign, and so you are a strong personality, you cannot accept and receive the power of your soul, because your soul is the electrical current within your body. And according to the second rule of the esoteric astrology, your purpose in this lifetime is to embody your ascendant, the rising sign, because there lies your soul. And I'm also going to speak about me. I have Gemini ascendant, exactly conjuncting Aldebaran, the fixed star of Archangel Michael. I am from the family of Michael. I'm a first ray. And so embodying my soul, embodying the energy of my ascendant is what brings me into my full spectrum of fulfillment. And Gemini, according to esoteric astrology, is the constellation through which the second ray, love wisdom, which is my monad, is passing through. So your ascendant is the most powerful part of your chart, yet you are not reaching your ascendant unless you have fully embodied your sun sign. Now, what is the difference with the mainstream astrology, especially the Western astrology? The Western astrology is based on the moon sign. It gives importance to the moon cycle, yet the moon cycle, the moon is an artificial object that was placed there after the fall of Atlantis, and it was for the manipulation of the emotions, and it has to do in our chart with our ancestors and especially the fall of Atlantis. and the manipulation of the solar plexus, which is ruled by Neptune. Since Neptune exited Pisces 2 months ago, this cycle has ended, and now all humanity has moved into the solar plexus so that they can clean the mind body, the what we call in esotericism the kamamanas, the emotions wrapped in the mind that creates the reaction, and that it is controlled through the moon cycles. That's why esoteric astrology pays no attention to the moon and says specifically that you have to go beyond the moon, because otherwise you are not a solar being, and if you are not a solar being, you haven't integrated, in plain English, your soul. You are still a personality in evolution. This is where the 75% of humanity is now. That's why the teachings of the esoteric astrology is only now useful to study. And that's why you have to have a reading and your race from the perspective of esoteric astrology, because you are, everybody, the majority, 75%, is in the process of evolving through the solar plexus, which we call in the spiritual so-called community the third dimension, the third chakra, to the fourth dimension, which is the heart and the higher heart, to finally reach the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra, the chakra of liberation. I have a special activation in my offerings in the community board that Michael gave me 6 years ago in 2020 about the activation of the throat chakra. So this is how astrology now works. It's not about prediction, it's about the stargates and the soul descending into the human avatar. And so let's say the human avatar, the human vehicle, becomes conscious. This is consciousness, the Christ consciousness. Before we had the programming. And so, working with your etheric body, this is Uranus in Aquarius, which is the next phase. Twins, the constellation of Gemini, is uniting the etheric part and the 7 chakras. And Uranus is going to unite them so that you can experience the opening of the third eye, which is seeing clairvoyantly the etheric realms. Of course, for those, again, that they want to work. Everything that I'm bringing to this channel, Holistic Healing, is for the advanced humanity. It has nothing to do with tarot, which is the old fourth lower dimension. It has nothing to do with the laws of manifestation, which is again mind controlled. You want something to manifest, but you have to struggle, you have to try, you have to wait. It has to do with time, because time is mind and mind is time. Soul is about now. But unless you fully embody your true soul, you cannot bring into existence, because manifestation is a very old and misused word. You cannot bring into your physical reality what your soul doesn't want and doesn't need or doesn't see as useful for your evolution. Because you might think that you need money. I'm just using an example. But your soul wants the experience of you not having money. And unless your soul gets the lesson, you are not going to have money. Unless, of course, you use the law of control, fear, and manipulation. And by all means, there are many dimensions, lower dimension, for doing that. This is the wars that are happening around humanity. These are the old timelines where they are still operating in the old manipulated life force. But this channel is not about that. It's about 2025 and beyond. And healing is all about intelligence. It's all about knowing from the perspective of the higher mind of the soul, of course. And it has to do with the ones who are wisdom keepers. If you want to start from somewhere, I would suggest, I will highly recommend to have an esoteric reading where I can see your potential, your race, and then suggest various ways of working with yourself in your own rhythm, in your own time. And of course, if you choose that, okay, because not everybody is ready for that, okay. You can email me. You will find my email in the community board. You can find it in my shorts, and I will put it also in the description board in pinned comment. And we will start from somewhere, from the beginning, your blueprint in your chart, and we will see together if and what you can apply in your own individual situation. Thank you very much for listening. I would highly appreciate if you subscribe to the channel or like the video if you feel like it. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day from beautiful, sunny yet windy Athens. Bye.